Hello and welcome back to another episode of PsycKicks. My name is Liv and this is the podcast where we talk about all things metaphysical, spiritual, paranormal, and in between. So if you all can't tell because you're not watching the video version of this Sunday's podcast on the main PsycKicks channel, we have two very special guests today. Please welcome Caroline Grace and Emily Benjamin from Live, Laugh, Lore.
Hello. Happy to be here.
I have a button. Which one is it? Is it this one?
No.
Nope. Nope. Yeah.
Sound effects. This is a production.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I
Amazing.
appreciate that. I need to get like little tiny like labels for my buttons. I remember the yellow one and the pink one, but all the other ones are just a mystery every time.
I love that though. We have to make all of our own sound effects. So
oh, you should do it. Go on YouTube. You can if you get a little soundboard, or you could download one on your computer. YouTube has free sound effects. That's where I got the nut button.
No.
That's specifically from Let's Get Haunted. I made that one for them. So now you guys can have it too.
I feel like Caroline would abuse it though. You would.
I would.
While I'm talking. Yeah. So no,
I know.
we cannot have that.
Oh,
we can't have nice things.
I was trying to think. I was like, how can I connect that to my piano?
Yep.
You can do it. You just download the MP3 from YouTube for free. Anyways,
Yes.
Caroline and Emily are co-hosts of an epic podcast where they take their listeners on fantastical journeys through space and time to uncover all things mythical, magical, and lore. Tune in each Thursday for a podcast that's equal parts enlightening, entertaining. Live, laugh, lore.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Can we just put that at the top of all of our episodes?
I can send it
That
to
would
you.
really
if
be
you
great.
want. You can
Yeah.
have it.
Thank you so much.
It came from my brain. You can have it as a gift.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you guys
We're
want
so excited.
Oh, good. Can you tell me a little bit more about your podcast? How did it come to be?
Well, Caroline and I just think that we're really funny when we talk to each other on the phone. What I have learned since us starting this is that, yes, we are really funny, but also we cannot finish a single thought ever.
Yeah.
That makes good for
So-
entertainment.
Exactly. So the listeners out there who also struggle with extreme ADHD, come on over.
I'd
It's a
enjoy.
great time. Okay, so we are Live, Laugh, Lore, and we like to talk about all kinds of spooky folklore, strange historical events, the unexplained, or just fun things that we want to talk about. We are definitely two people that are either your favorite people at a party or you avoid us at a party because we're saying, did you know? And telling you all the facts of things that you probably didn't want to know. But if you do, then you can come listen to us and hang out, and it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's fabulous. Yeah, I loved your name. It's so cute. It's so cute. Absolutely adorable. And when I saw that you guys had covered Mothman, I was like, these are my people. We need to talk
Yeah.
about things.
Moth Daddy.
It's
Moth
so
Daddy.
funny.
Yeah.
And I think it's great because there's so many podcasts out there now that have been inspired by other people as well to create things like what our podcasts talk about. And I think that even if, say, PsycKicks might talk about things that Live, Laugh, Lore talk about, listen to both things. Listen to all of the people
Mhm.
because Emily and Caroline are going to have so much more perspective and insight about things that I may miss because I miss a lot of things.
Well, same. Yeah. So
Same.
maybe together we'll get it right.
Create
Who
some
knows?
sort of cohesive comedy idea.
Exactly. Yeah. And also we do try to do quite a bit of research on it, but there's a lot of stuff that we just don't fully understand or know. And we will tell you too, but
I know that there's things that I've gotten wrong. I've found things after and the fact, and I'm like, that was incorrect. But you know what?
and we'll
We're
tell
just
you.
living and learning and
We are
loring.
living, laughing, and loring one day at a time.
I want to ask,
So-
what podcast episode did we just record? Because I just recorded with them for Live, Laugh, Lore, and now they're going to be
Yeah.
guests on PsycKicks. But what number did we just record for?
That was episode 40.
Okay. Because we just
Yeah.
did the Dybbuk box, which PsycKicks did a long time ago. And now I want to know if it was before or after it came out with the fact that it was all just a big old hoax. So now I kind of want to like go back and be like, what did what was talked about and what was not talked about?
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Yes, if you guys know what the Dybbuk box is, it was a hoax. Still very fun to learn about, though.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's all about the lore.
Yeah. Especially if you are a Post Malone and or Zach Bagans fan. It's got a little bit of everything.
It's got sparkled jeans.
Uh-huh.
Sorry. Yep. Okay. All right. So you guys are on Instagram, right? Are you on TikTok or anything like that? Where can we listen to your podcast?
You know, we didn't do any of this for you, and I feel really bad right now.
I know. And I didn't do it for myself, though. I can do it for others, but I can't do it for myself. I was raised as a child
Okay, let's record a third time.
No. It's perfect. I know you're on Instagram because I haunted you in the background for just a little bit, and I like all of your things now because that's what I try to do when we do collaborations is I just support kindly from the background. Will you hear from me again? No, but will you get little hearts on your stories all the time that'll make you look at the notifications and you'll just see my face?
That's all we need.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
We are on Instagram. We're on TikTok. That app, Live Laugh Lore _pod. We're on TikTok, Live Laugh Lore podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, right? You can find us on there. You can find us on virtually any platform, to be honest.
Please find us. Yeah, and we also have a Patreon now as well with some bonus content in there. So, yeah, we're trying to be everywhere all at once.
Very excellent.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, go check out their podcast. Like I said, every Thursday. So if you're not listening to PsycKicks once a month, you should be listening the rest of the 3 weeks out of the month to Live Laugh Lore.
There you go.
But without
we're filling in the gaps.
Which is perfect. I need help. Help me. Well, without further ado, let's get into today's topic. So, have you guys ever heard about birds aren't real?
Yes.
I'm so happy about that.
But I've never looked into it or anything.
Okay, good.
Because I do think that birds are real, but I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, I think.
I'm on the fence about birds.
And the birds are on the fence watching you.
Yeah.
No, really, like what what are your like small, like the birth ideas that you have about birds aren't real? Like where did you hear it from? What is your first impression from when you originally heard for when birds aren't real?
I feel like I think I heard it on like Tumblr when I was a teen. I was a little Tumblr girl in high school. I think that was probably maybe the first place I heard it, or like Twitter. And they're like spies, maybe. Mm-hmm. Don't know.
Okay.
I think that's what I heard.
Emily, same.
My little brother had a beanie that said "birds aren't real" on it, and I asked him, "What are you talking about?" And he enlightened me. And then I again looked into it for my Halloween party last year, which was conspiracy theory themed, and I had a drink called "Birds Aren't Real" with Grey Goose vodka in it. And as far as I understand, they are government drones, just like Furbies.
Oh, Furbies are government. That's another conspiracy theory for. Oh no, it is for Furbies, because there's like some dude on the internet that was like in the FBI, and he's like, "Listen, just get rid of all your Furbies."
Yes. Do you guys think Labubus are the new Furbies? And those?
What is a Labubu?
Oh, I'm too on the internet. Okay.
Yeah, it's a new craze of like, it's like this little doll that people are buying, and it looks terrifying.
It's like a keychain for your purse.
Okay.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Got it. Yeah. I thought Squishmallows were the thing. We moved past Squishmallows. Okay. You're educating me. All I do is watch old 90s TV shows with my son, so I'm like stuck in the past.
I mean, I wish I never learned about Labubus, to be honest. Same. It's like, why am I learning? Why do I know about this?
It's dumb.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm excited about it. I'm going to look it up very soon after this.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, if you guys are listening on the PsycKicks Extras YouTube channel, let me know in the comments below. Or if you're watching this on the PsycKicks main channel, because that's where this video will be, let me know, what is your first impressions of birds aren't real? Because I have a couple different mixed reviews, which we're going to get into. But to first understand how birds aren't real, we need to do some background on a little group called the CIA. Dun dun. All right, so fun fact. The FBI is and was responsible for domestic security and anti-espionage operations. The CIA, on the other hand, started out as the Office of Strategic Services, or the OSS. It was the first intelligence agency of the United States formed during World War II. The OSS was formed as an agency of the Joint Chief of Staff to coordinate espionage activities behind enemy lines for all branches of the United States Armed Forces. Other OSS functions included as the use of propaganda, subversion, and post-war planning. So it was all like connected to or with the government, if you will, and the military most specifically. However, on September 20th, 1945, shortly after the end of World War II, President Truman signed an executive order dissolving the OSS. But by October 1945, its function had been divided between the Department of State and War, specifically the Strategic Services Unit, or the SSU, the Department of State's Bureaus of Intelligence and Research, the INR, and the Central Intelligence Group, or CIG, the intermediary precursor to the independent Central Intelligence Agency. So it's kind of like they had this government thing for the military to do espionage and like behind the scenes things, think like attaché things. And then they're like, well, after World War II, we don't need this anymore. This is like silly. And they just broke it down into all these little groups just to make it more obnoxious. Kind of like when we talked about in the original filming of the Dybbuk box, how the Dybbuk was supposed to be like in the box, but then the box exploded and then they had all these pieces, right? That's like what happened to the OSS. So the Central Intelligence Agency wasn't created until July 26, 1947, when President Truman signed the National Security Act into law, which dissolved all of the other groups that I had mentioned before and established both the National Security Council and the Central Intelligence Agency. So the major reason for the creation of these agencies was growing tensions with the USSR following the end of World War II. So like the Cold War that was going to start happening. So unlike past U.S. intelligence groups, the CIA was structured to be comprised of civilians and not military personnel, which is kind of, since you guys want like fun facts, the United States Postal Service used to be a part of the government until the 1970s when it was turned into a civilian group. So even though all of the people for the Postal Service work for the government, they're not actually paid by the government. Isn't that crazy? Oh. Because by the Constitution, the United States has to have a formally like created collective postal service. So that's why the USPS is still in law, but it hasn't actually been funded by the government since the 70s. Anyways.
I did not know that. Who funds?
So do we fund it?
Yeah, your business funds it. So that's why it's
shipping
always struggling, because technically it's like the cheapest way that you can send mail because the US government has to have an established postal service. But it's in the 70s, everyone's like, I hate the post office. I'm not paying for it anymore. And the government's like, okay, you technically won't pay for it anymore, but we still have to have it. So good luck with that.
Wow.
So that's kind of what happened with the establishment of the CIA. So the government no longer was controlling it necessarily, but the CIA is a little bit different. We'll get into that. So in 1949, a man by the name of Lawrence Houston, who helped to draft the National Security Act of 1947, which created the CIA, also helped to draft the Central Intelligence Agency Act, which authorized the agency, because we said that they wanted it to be civilian now, no longer government. This dude comes in, this Lawrence Houston guy with the Central Intelligence Agency Act, and he authorizes the CIA to use confidential fiscal and administrative procedures and exempted the organization from most limitations on the use of federal funds. So it's still being federally funded, just like how your school systems can get federal funding. So they can ask for it from the government, but without asking for it, they don't get it. The act also exempted the CIA from having to disclose its organization, functions, officials, titles, salaries, or numbers of personnel employed, and created the program PL-110 to handle the defectors and other essential aliens who fell outside normal immigration procedures. So like amongst all of the, not to say that this podcast is not political, but to say about amongst all of the immigration things that are going on right now, even the CIA is like, that's kind of silly. And we're going to have a place that says, even if we have, they call them essential aliens. Literally, the CIA talks about it. Anyways.
That's crazy.
Right. So to handle defectors and other essential aliens who fell outside normal immigration procedures. So like the USPS, the CIA is a part of the U.S. government, but technically operates outside of it as a civilian employed group. It's tricky.
So they found a loophole.
They did. They specifically wrote a loophole in. So
I mean, that makes sense because, I mean, when something happens, you never hear the news say like, oh, they're sending in the CIA. You always say FBI.
Yeah.
So.
And the CIA technically doesn't have any like police officers, quote unquote, but the FBI does.
Work for the CIA. How do I do that?
I honestly had the same thought when I was recording this. I'm not going to lie to you.
I would be good at that.
Yeah.
So following the beginning of the Cold War, which began on March 12th, 1947, a new director of the CIA was appointed, and his name was Alan. I'm going to ruin this because I want to say Dulles.
Nope.
Is that correct? There's an airport
like
named
balls
after
again?
him. No, it's like Dulles, Dulles, or Dulles.
Dulles?
Maybe I'm going to say Dulles. Maybe I should look it up. I should have done that. I thought about it. It's fine.
It's more fun to struggle through it.
And have people in the comments spell it out for me.
Right, yeah. Exactly.
So his name, Alan Dulles, and that's where the birds come in. Or I guess they fly the coop. Okay. Thoughts on the CIA so far?
I can't tell if I think that they're a little bit shady or if I think that they're ingenious. Maybe a little bit.
I think they're cool.
Of both. Well, I'm just saying, like, they wrote themselves a loophole to where it sounds like they can do
anything they want,
pretty much whatever they want. They can, operate in their own world entirely while still getting funding, which is ideal.
One of my neighbors growing up, he was a retired CIA agent. So
was he allowed to tell you that?
Did he talk about Furbies?
I don't know. I don't think I knew about that at that point, but my mom would always ask him.
Relationship to birds.
I don't know. I never heard of this stuff. He died when I was pretty young, and then my dad stole his trash can, so we had to.
What?
Anyway, besides the point. What was I saying?
You need to call in the FBI for that one.
Okay.
Because obviously the dude from the CIA couldn't do anything.
My mom would always ask him though if aliens were real, and he would never answer.
But now apparently aliens are real, so.
Yeah, but he was like, he would say the line, "If I told you, I'd have to kill you." You know, I think he was just playing with her, but hold on. You gotta get down. That's enough.
I'm okay with the cat butts. I subdued Sniffles with some really vintage meow mix.
Oh, smart. He was just behind every computer and just moving everything. So
he was involved.
Yeah.
All right. With is it Edgar?
Yes.
Yes. With Edgar out from behind the monitors, let's move on to the backstory. So when I began my research for this podcast, the only reference to the satirical conspiracy theory I had was from high school and a few friends and a few of their family members too. One of which, my friend Abby, who I talked about being the anthropology major in episode 40 on your podcast, she had a t-shirt which sported the phrase, "Birds work for the bourgeoisie." And that was like high school. And I mean, it's just, people wear graphic tees. They're like going to Hot Topic and stuff. So you're like, oh, it's just another cool tee. I don't really understand it. But there's this huge conspiracy theory behind it. So I always thought this conspiracy began much earlier than what my research actually uncovered. Like the idea itself was evoked from some 1970s idea that spread to make it to what it is today. But I guess, according to my research, I was wrong. For example, my best friend's dad, she was the one who was wearing the t-shirt in high school, and her dad was in the Navy. And during his military career, he had his best friend, like he and his best friend, came up with the following ideas that they still tout today. So one is that the squirrels work for the birds because the squirrels live in the trees. So they see what's going on with the people, and then they run up to trees and tell the birds about it. So they're like the first line of defense in the espionage that's coming from the CIA. Okay. Right?
I knew there was something going on with squirrels.
Right. They also said his favorite thing is that the racoons are the mercenaries because they have masks.
And they have little hands. They can hold the tools.
Yes.
This is making
the
sense.
squirrels, I mean, they're like martyrs essentially because they're always getting killed. So like they're doing this for good, but
is
really
it for good?
Is it for good?
It's just for the CIA.
or maybe it's not for good. Maybe it's to help, but maybe they think it's good.
They could be.
Let's hope.
Exactly. So like, and obviously my friend's parents were born in like the 80s. Well, no, they were born in like they're younger than my parents. So maybe the 70s, but they had these ideas in the 80s. So I'm thinking like maybe it was something from their parents, 70s. It was the 70s, man, whatever. So I thought this was all in correlation too with like, have you ever heard of the kamikaze porpoises?
No.
This is an actual.
I've never heard of any of this.
I'm so glad.
What else do animals do? My God.
No, okay. So in the USSR and now like into present day, because I think the US is doing it too, but it's more of a Russian thing. They are trying to teach underwater mammals, specifically of the porpoise variety, how to intercept like communications frequencies as well as move, transport, and sometimes use like explosives in a kamikaze fashion.
Yes. I have heard of this.
Okay.
I'm terrified of dolphins. And
Really?
this is justified now. I knew there was a reason.
So it go ahead.
Sorry.
Nope. This is
I've seen this they did it with orca whales. Mm-hmm. They put like, I don't know if I'm dreaming this or not, but
they have like high technology like strapped to them, and they're using like because they can pick up sonar and stuff. They're teaching dolphins and other like sonar using animals how to catch like when other not allied forces are sending like radio communication frequencies, because they pick it up with their sonar, and then they're being trained to like go back and tell the Russians that people are sending information. It's a whole thing.
And who's trusting the dolphins? The message that they bring back, what if it's not the right one?
Well,
they have their own agenda, is what I'm saying.
They could have their own agenda. They do like to get high on cuttlefish.
Nope.
It's recorded, isn't it? I mean, definitely the dolphins aren't like speaking back to the humans.
The dolphins, they have an agenda, I'm telling you.
Maybe they just like flip a little button that's strapped to them, and that like it turns it red, and that's how they communicate to the humans that like there's some stuff being said and they need to send some other people out that can like actually interpret it. I think it would be so cool to actually work as like an animal behaviorist in one of these operations, because who doesn't, well, except for you, Emily, want to work with dolphins? But
I love dolphins.
I think
that's actually Caroline's spirit animal. We took a spirit animal quiz, and she's a dolphin.
That's very cute. What is yours?
I'm a badger, which I feel very proud of.
Honey badger doesn't give a shit.
Yep. Yep. And you know what else? Honey badgers do not fuck around with dolphins at all.
No.
That's true. No. They do live on the land.
Mm-mm.
Anyway.
We didn't ask, are we allowed to say the F word on this?
Yeah.
Is YouTube like, okay.
Oh,
sorry.
Well, I think you can say the F word on YouTube. You just have to say when you post it on YouTube, it'll ask you like what the monetization status is. And I always hit the first one that says there's abbreviated to slight vulgar language, because I'm really bad with not swearing.
Okay. Same.
Okay, good.
Okay,
yeah.
great.
Just want to make sure.
As long as it's just like a casual conversation, you're good.
Okay.
All right. Great. Cool. So, kamikaze porpoises is what we were talking about. But remember, my friend's dad and his friend, were in the Navy, so they knew about this stuff, and it is true. So, the term used for the Russian and the former Soviet Union military program that involved training dolphins and other marine mammals for underwater tasks, they call them BOBs, which is likely meaning explosive devices. It's often referred to unofficially as the Russian Navy Marine Mammal Program, or variations like the Soviet Navy Marine Mammal Program. And this was all during the Cold War era. So I'm just like, okay, this has to like come, this conspiracy theory has to come from something like this. So specifically, the Soviet program reportedly trained dolphins to attach explosives to enemy vessels and to detect mines. The Russian military has reportedly revived and continues to utilize these programs, So they utilized these programs with dolphins deployed in the Black Sea to defend naval bases from potential underwater attacks by divers. And there were even reports of dolphins being trained as kamikaze dolphins with explosives strapped to them in suicide attacks, although the success of the missions are unclear.
Okay, I don't like dolphins, but I don't want that to happen to them.
I don't think
That's horrible.
I don't think that they should be using them to explode themselves with other
No.
things. However,
The dolphin doesn't know that it's a suicide bomber.
No. Maybe it does.
Or maybe it does.
I have
I don't
no
know,
idea. It's not right. Animal rights
not
activists
right.
are going to be very upset about it. I'm also upset about it. But when it comes to the idea of birds aren't real, I'm just thinking that it comes from like the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Like Project MK Ultra, like that era of stuff. So,
jeez.
yeah. Anyways, so I figured that the conspiracy theory that birds aren't real was based on something back from the 70s, or at least something more factual or unambiguous than one dude from 2017 who made a silly sign to combat pro-Trump counter-protesters at a women's march in Memphis, Tennessee.
It was that recent?
Yes.
Wait, what year?
2017, my friends.
Okay, then it was not on Tumblr.
But what if it was? This could also be like a weird Mandela effect, because I swear I sat down to do this thing because I was like, I'm going to do Live, Laugh, Lore. This is going to be fun. They want lore. I've never really done conspiracy theories, so this has to be cool. I'm going to find some like MK Ultra stuff, some like old like military operations from the CIA and the FBI and all this other stuff. No, a dude in 2017.
That's so recent.
Exactly. So yes, birds aren't real. It's just like most things metaphysical. It's just one big satirical joke. But just because it's not the conspiracy theory you thought it might have been doesn't mean that it isn't fun to get into the inside joke and learn about the story Peter McInode fabricated. So let's get into it.
Let's go.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow, my mind is blown.
I could have sworn that this was something that I saw in high school.
What year is it? Where are we? What is going on?
It's like almost 10 years later.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, with the stuff that my friend's dad was saying and everything else, I 100% like went into this research, and I just for like at least an hour or two of researching stuff, I was just getting rid of this Peter dude, and I was like, you don't know anything. Apparently he does, and he's the one that made it. Or
oh my God.
Maybe he was raised like how we were, with ideas and stuff of the CIA, and then this thought just popped out of his mind because it's all something collectively that we've been thinking, and then he put it on a sign and now he gets credit for it.
Yeah, like the concept isn't new, but the phrase is new.
Just like that
makes me feel a little bit better about it.
Just like the vampires and the mermaids from different countries.
Exactly. There's always been something shady about the birds.
Exactly. Yeah. And people have fears of birds though too, so it plays into that like an actual psychological doctor feeler. Anyways, so there's claims that the CIA was founded solely to track potentially communist Americans. And these claims were backed up by the factual event of the 1951 trial and conviction of Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, who were arrested and convicted of espionage against the U.S. So Julius was a real spy working for the USSR, but his wife's guiltiness of such crimes is still debated today, even after their execution on June 19th, 1953. So, there's claims about the CIA wanting to talk about communist things and always be vigilant of communism in America. So that's kind of where I think the basis of birds aren't real was built on. So Peter goes on to say, if you go on to I highly recommend, I'll have all of the sources that I have linked to this in the description below or in the show notes, depending on where you're listening. But he goes on to say that because of this publicized event, with the trial of Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, the government used it as a reason to implement the first CCTV surveillance cameras in American neighborhoods with high Russian immigrant populations. So specifically where the Russian immigrant population was large, they had closed circuit TVs to watch people to help ward off communism, which is just a huge thing even today, which is funny because this was in the 1940s and now it's 2025. So
I know, I was about to say, we always kind of find the scapegoat.
Yeah. So it's cool to figure out, how they talk about being able to discern facts from fiction today with all of the media that's going on and AI and all this other stuff. This dude in 2017 has the most hilarious thing. And like, go on to Birds Aren't Real when we're done with this and just read it. It is so, so funny. I don't want to just like take all of it from Peter's website because that wouldn't be cool. But I share the meat and potatoes of it. But the rest of it, you guys really have to go read because it is like a TED Talk masterclass in being able to try and discern fake media. And it's almost like the beginning of it is pretty hard to discern, but the more you read, the more ridiculous it gets. And that's like why it's satirically so funny because it's so like chef's kiss of writing. And so Peter goes on to talk about how this publicized event for the U.S. government is the reason that it implemented the first CCTV surveillance cameras in American neighborhoods. However, this is not a factual statement as far as I could tell, aside from that the first CCTV was introduced to the American market in 1949 by Vericon. But it wasn't used for like government purposes initially. It was more just like little backyard things for like people's more important shops and things like that. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is this like around the same time that all the wiretapping was happening? Like, I don't know if it was the CIA or FBI or whatever, but a government agency was like listening in on people's phone conversations and it became a whole like constitutional, like, is this okay thing?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Or are you referring to when post 9/11?
No, this was like Cold War era. Yeah.
Yeah, this is all
I'm
Cold
sure it's
era.
come up multiple times.
So like 1940s.
Oh,
1950s.
way before that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is just, you know, how Peter builds the story of how it came into things, which I think is why also too, we thought that it was before this guy because we've only heard the story, but not who actually created the story. And he does such a good job of it. So he continues by saying that in 1953, when Alan Dulles was made the first civilian director of the CIA, he made it his mission to take hiding cameras to monitor the U.S. population, his life's mission. So much so that on April 15th, 1956, Dulles met with the President Eisenhower to pitch his plan that would result in the mass destruction of the American aviation population as we know it. So we talk about Alan Dulles and the actual like history of the founding of the CIA, and this guy uses his names and like certain dates and little things that line up to make it seem even more real. It's crazy. So according to the Birds Aren't Real website, quote, according to Peter, he says, it is believed that the initial plan for killing all of the birds and replacing them with flying cameras was thought up one weekend in May of 1956. In a stolen transcript from an ex-CIA deputy, she says, yeah, the higher-ups were so annoyed that the birds had been dropping fecal matter on their car windows that they vowed to wipe out every single flying feathered creature in North America. Dulles and his team wanted to create the greatest surveillance system ever imagined with the capability of tracking someone on foot, in a vehicle, and even in their personal homes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, what if you got like one of those cute little birds that you get from the pet store and they're just there. They're watching you.
Yeah.
But now
I mean, I have a bird feeder like in my kitchen window and they just sit there and stare sometimes. So
they're actually watching you.
Maybe cats are in on this. And that's why they like to catch birds because they're trying to fight them.
Oh, you think the cats are fighting the government?
Oh my God.
Dun dun.
Okay. I love it.
I mean,
love it.
So many people had little caged birds in their houses for so long, but now everyone has Alexa.
Oh. Which honestly, that makes a lot of sense.
I'm just saying. And now you have the bird feeders too that strap onto the windows that have the little cameras that you can stream to your phone with the internet. It's just watching Inception. So
I do like the idea that they did not wipe out all of the birds possibly. And like some of them are real and some of them aren't. And that the real birds are like walking up to the fake birds and like trying to, do their thing and just are facing rejection probably every single time, which is a little bit sad now that I think about it, but confusing.
I hate to burst your bubble, but if you really believe in this conspiracy theory as hard as I do, I hate to tell you that, how according to Peter did the director Dulles carry out his mass avian genocide? I'm going to tell you. All of the birds.
Gosh.
Billions. They're all gone. They're all robots. Not a single one. You thought you ate chicken nuggets earlier. I'm telling you right now that it's not
Oh my God,
true.
chicken.
No.
What?
Oh, wait, I don't eat meat. I don't care. What is it?
I don't know, but I'm sure Peter could tell you.
What are those turkey things that we eat at Thanksgiving?
They're not birds. They've been
I
wiped
will
out.
tell you, McDonald's chicken nuggets, there is no way that that's chicken. And I worked at McDonald's, so let me crack that case for you. Yeah, it's paste.
Okay. It is. That's true. I also worked at McDonald's. I tried to give my son a chicken nugget the other day, and he didn't want to eat it. Every little kid likes nuggies. He was like, I don't really care for that. I'm like, okay, we'll go home and eat something different. That's fine. All right. So according to the mass genocide of Birds Aren't Real, the website, it's just because the words he used are so funny. I want to quote that he says, "Here are the facts and eyewitness accounts of various key events that occurred within our nation that completely destroyed every man, woman, and child bird in existence." So it is every single one of them. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Every man, woman, and child bird.
There's actually a video there's a video on the internet of a pigeon walking through the Kremlin Square, you know? Uh-huh. And he's walking, and then all of a sudden his wing comes out, like he salutes
oh my God.
Putin, and then just keeps walking. And that was like before AI. It's so good. All right.
Oh my God.
Peter goes on to state that 12 billion birds were killed between 1959 and 1971 using the funds of approximately 65 billion in tax dollars. 120 B-52 bombers and 23 men from Boeing were employed to assemble each bomber individually under the protection of Area 51 in Nevada. So all of that government cheese that apparently the CIA isn't getting, well, 65 billion of that was given to the Birds Aren't Real project in order to wipe out all avian species across North America. So,
I wouldn't even be that shocked at this point. If you had told this story like 10 years ago, I'd been like, or even before then, I would have been like, wow, there's no way.
Mm-hmm. And then you would
this seems more believable now.
Look at your birds on your bird feeder and be like, that squirrel looks like it's really trying to get to the bird feeder. It's not because they want the bird feeder food. It's because they're trying to tell the birds what are happening so that they can relay it to the government. Exactly.
So you mean when I'm upset and I'm talking to the trees and that bird comes and sits next to me, it's not like a spiritual thing. It's just the government being like,
it is. It's not your grandfather in the form of a cardinal to give you spiritual solace. It's only purely for the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
They want to know.
Don't tell anyone in the South that. They do not want to hear it.
No, they don't. All right. So
that's my grandpappy.
Yeah, we could talk about that as a medium later. Just ruining so many people's lives. It's all satire. Okay. So although instead of being secretly transported like the alleged parts of the 120 B-52 bombers, which were to be constructed in Area 51, so like they got the parts from Boeing, and then instead of just buying the planes as a whole, the government, this Alan Dole's guy is like, hey, we're just going to buy the parts, hire the dudes to put them together, and then put them together in Area 51 so that no one really knows like what we've used to purchase this stuff from. So anyways, they're like trying to get around from it. But so they buy all these things in parts and ship them to Area 51 to try and hide things. But according to Birds Aren't Real, the 23 guys from Boeing drove cross country from, I think it's Mukilteo, Washington. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, to Nevada in an old salvage yard school bus that they decked out in random couches and rugs and adorned with the words Area 51 or bust painted on the sides.
Oh my God.
So all 23 Boeing engineers made it to their destination except for one who was supposedly left behind in a Waffle House bathroom because the others complained that he, quote, had to pee too many times and was ruining the vibe of the road trip. His name, Neil Ford.
Oh my God.
I empathize with him. I feel like that's my life.
Well, remember how I said Peter puts all this together with like factual, like it's all half-truths mixed with so many lies. So it's fun to try and discern what the half-truths are amongst the entire lie that is this conspiracy theory itself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I like to cross-reference some of the claims in his fun little conspiracy theory, and I'd like to point out that a lot of what Peter McCone's story is chocked full of, like what I said, half-truths, which help it make it just be so much more fun. But one of the bigger lies of what's being said was about Neil Ford, this quote-unquote guy that got left behind. So I was looking up, like, they're traveling from Washington, right? Which is like where Boeing is actually situated, established, whatever, to Nevada. So if you look at the states, they could drive theoretically in their old salvage yard school bus from Oregon to Nevada, or they could even do a pit stop and do Oregon, Idaho, Nevada, which is kind of like really going roundabout. But I looked out that the founding date of Waffle House wasn't until Labor Day in 1955, and it opened in Avondale Estates, Georgia. There has never, ever, ever been a Waffle House in the west coast of the United States. They're only secluded in the East Coast.
Well, there is now, but that's recent.
Is there?
Yes.
Oh.
Very, very few. I about screamed when I saw Waffle House in Phoenix. I was like, oh my God, it's here. But it, definitely did not start here at all.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to talk about spiritual experiences, you will have probably the most spiritual experiences anyone can have in a Waffle House, especially
1000%.
like from the times of 12 until like 3 a.m. I think that would actually be a really cool place to do a paranormal investigation, would be a Waffle House.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I would love that. Also, you will never feel more protected than when you are in a Waffle House, because the people that work at Waffle House don't play.
No.
At
They
all.
don't.
Yeah. No, they've got you.
Yeah.
They've got you. Yeah.
Dare
Love
I
Waffle
say
House.
they should have their own little like saint candles.
They
I was talking with one of my friends. She's from Tennessee, and we were talking about people that should be brought into sainthood, and we said Dolly Parton should be one of them.
Yes. Yeah. I would second that. I don't know how we make that happen, but I think it should happen. Also, I am very happy to hear that you pronounce Nevada like Nevada and not Nevada.
Who says Nevada? Potato.
So many
patata?
people, everyone on the eastern side of the states, they say Nevada. And I'm like,
oh,
no.
That's like Appalachian versus Appalachian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
Why? Do you say Appalachian or Appalachian?
Appalachian.
Oh, okay. Got it. I've heard both.
Have you always heard of Appalachian?
Yeah, well, like in the East Coast where I'm from, they say Appalachian, but I've heard that when you talk about Appalachia, I call it Appalachia.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say Appalachian Mountains, but the place in which the people are is Appalachia.
Interesting. Where I'm from, it's always been Appalachia.
Which is fun.
Appalachian.
Well, I'm also from a place where people like to fight over whether it's called pop or soda.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I know more in the South, y'all call it soda. And then
we do.
More in the upper East, they call it pop.
Yeah.
I like to tell my son that he needs to call it soda, because when he says soda, he says sota.
Sota. Well, that's very cute.
It's so cute.
Yes.
I also make him call my husband Papa because I think it's adorable. So he only calls his husband
cute.
Papa.
Yes.
Anyways,
oh my goodness.
Waffle Houses don't exist in the West Coast, at least not in 1971. No, 1959. Nope. So, let me see. I said, perhaps this is something a guy from Memphis, Tennessee would overlook. Dun dun. So continuing on with Peter's conspiracy, he goes on to say that Neil Ford, the one member that was left behind in the Waffle House bathroom in somewhere near Nevada, told the birds aren't real founding members his side of the story before his death in 1994, including the claims that Dulles looked for Boeing engineers with no family to recruit, making their disappearance after the completion of the project that much easier to hide. It is claimed that the 22 engineers, upon their arrival to Nevada, were taken and given the task of designing a new version of the B-52, the B-52B. The B stands for birds or barrack, and it was a brand new model for the B-52 that had a 450-gallon water tank in place of the bomb compartments. So my favorite quote so far in reading The Birds Aren't Real is, quote, "The water tanks were hard to design, and one of the engineers almost gave up, but Dulles hit him over the head with a 40-pound wrench to try and, quote, knock some sense into him."
Oh my God, that would kill him.
What?
40 pounds. A wrench.
What kind of wrench is this?
They
Oh my
make
God.
really big wrenches. They really do.
My goodness. Also, Neil had the last laugh with all of this.
Right?
Like, he was spared. They thought they were like, screw you, we're leaving you behind. But really, they just saved him.
Yeah.
In that mythical Waffle House.
Mythical Waffle House in Nevada.
Yeah.
So Peter then goes on to say that the only reason the birds aren't real movement knows these details, aside from Neil Ford's testament, is from the, quote, 12 pallets of classified documents that were stolen from a warehouse by one of the birds aren't real patriots. I would also like to point out that the birds aren't real patriots sounds a lot like parrots to me. So who actually wrote the history of birds aren't real?
So you're telling me he's a whistleblower or has his own bird song?
He's a whistleblower.
That was a stretch.
I love it. I love it.
But it was worth it.
Anywho, moving on.
Paid off.
The 120 B-52 bombers were assembled and fitted with water tanks in lieu of bomb chambers. There was a complex system of radar and tracking technology that was assembled onto the planes that was used to track large flocks of birds from distances of 200 miles away. 5 coats of jet black matte paint was sprayed onto every surface of the plane to camouflage the aircraft against the night sky, and each external strobe, beacon, and landing light was removed so that not a single light emitted from the plane. And finally, the Pratt & Whitney JT3D engines were fitted with noise reduction pads that enabled the aircraft to fly completely silently from altitudes of 3,000 feet or higher. So you just wanted to know, Emily, how all of the birds could be gone. I'm just telling you. This is the facts.
I'm just telling you the facts.
I'm just telling you how it is.
Straight from the birds aren't real website.com, if you will. And we all know what our teachers taught us in school about .com websites as references for actual
They're valid.
material.
They're always valid.
Always, 100%.
Right.
So again, a little sleuthing for the fact-checking things that Peter was so fantastical about. The first B-52 Stratofortress bomber prototype was flown in April 15th, 1952, and it was called the YB-52. However, the first time a B-52 Stratofortress was used in combat was in June 1965 in the Vietnam War, and no Pratt & Whitney JT3D engines were used in any B-52 bombers ever.
Got him.
Just to...
Also, is that why they're called B-52s? Because they were made in 52?
And B for birds? Oh, no.
Or bomb, but bird is more likely, I would
bird,
say.
Area, 52. Isn't it Area 51?
Area 52.
My goodness.
Yeah, but Area 52 is a lesser known.
Yeah, it's
all coming together.
It is.
Yeah.
It's the specific big old chamber that they put those big old things together.
Area 51 was the land. B-52 was the sky.
Yeah.
It's all connected.
It is.
Sounds like
together.
They're like bingo. Like
B-52.
B-52.
So now, how were the birds killed in such large masses, may you ask? The aerial water tanks were filled with a poison that only affected birds through viral transmission. The fluid was sprayed at an altitude of 8,000 feet and would dissolve before it hit the ground. So no human fatalities could happen from this. The birds, however, once sprayed and infected with the virus, would decompose and fall to the ground, and with 24 hours of death, they would leave no trace behind. Specifically, it attacked the bone systems of birds because that's what makes them fly. So then they'd fall to the ground and just completely disappear.
Would they just decompose?
Mm-hmm. Within 24 hours. There was no trace behind.
Like Rasputin in the movie. Yeah.
So on June 2nd, 1959, Operation Water the Country would commence. Within the next 6 years, 15% of the bird population was killed and replaced by the, quote, 100 million bird prototypes. They were referred to as robot birds. And so much so in Birds Aren't Real, they go into talking about how They wanted to call it, or they changed the, it says they changed Operation Water the Country to Operation Big Bird or Giant Bird or something like that. It talks about how they had to make sure that the copyrights were correct so they wouldn't get in trouble by Sesame Street.
Oh my God.
But how would Sesame Street know? It's a secret.
It is. It should be a secret.
Are they in on it?
I mean, let's talk about Big Bird. He's telling your children things.
Is he not real?
He's definitely not real.
Definitely not.
Too, since we were children.
So over the next 6 years, 15% of the bird population was replaced and killed by bird prototypes known as robot birds. So apparently even JFK didn't know what was happening. The pilots of the planes were told that they were, quote, watering the grass of the entire country. That is until October 3rd, 1963, when JFK allegedly had created a wiretapped phone. See, Emily, because you were talking about wiretaps.
Mm-hmm.
In order to catch Alvin B. Cleaver, the internal communications director for the CIA at the time, to admitting to stealing his ham sandwiches from the White House kitchen.
Did he admit to it?
Not only did JFK catch Cleaver confessing to the crime, but also to the mass genocide of 22 million American birds.
I mean, one is clearly more important than the other.
Ham sandwiches, I think.
The sandwiches, yes. Yeah.
I thought I was going to be able to.
Yes, I stole your ham sandwich. And also.
Side note. Yeah.
So on October 25th, 1963, President Kennedy was shown a prototype called the Turkey X500. So when you're eating things, just remember. The Turkey X500 was shown to President Kennedy in an attempt to gain his favor of the CIA Operation Water the Country, but he still insisted that it be shut down. Peter then goes on to say, quote, Kennedy was impressed with what he was shown, but continued to demand that the immediate shutdown of the operation happen. And less than a month later, he was dead. Quote, he continues saying, now I'm not saying that these events are correlated, but I am. JFK was murdered by the CIA because he was against the mass murder of every feathered flying creature in the United States. He was to be the first and only president to stand against the murder of birds. From Lyndon Johnson to Donald Trump, every president we've had since has turned a blind eye to the atrocities that it began in 1959. After Kennedy was killed, the CIA started rigging elections. They would only allow candidates who were anti-bird and pro-citizen surveillance to win the presidency, unquote.
You think Jimmy Carter was okay?
Obama. You're better than this, Obama.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
I just woke up my cat. She has things to say.
That's because she fights the birds.
Yeah.
All right. So, see, she knows. She knows what's up. So, like I said, I highly recommend doing your own research on the conspiracy that birds aren't real, especially going on to birdsaren'treal.com, because it gives you the hard-hitting facts and truths about the mass genocide of the American aviation population. Final things that I would like to say is that Peter then goes on to say that the Vietnam War was actually a guise to steal aluminum ore only found in large enough quantities in Vietnam to build the robot birds, and that the factories used to build the robot birds were stationed in underground weapon bunkers, and all the personnel used to build the machines were, quote, dripping balls on acid. So that's why no one remembers what has ever happened. If you'd like to read more, visit the Birds Aren't Real website. It's hilarious and a fun read. What are your thoughts?
Do you think this guy is mentally okay?
I think if he was at a party with all of us and we didn't know who he was, we'd really, really like him.
I think so too. Yeah, I think he would be part of the thing that I was saying earlier about he'd either be someone you'd love at a party or someone you'd really be avoiding at a party. So depending on who you are. What is bird flu?
It might be.
How does that fit in?
You know,
like, are they mass updating the software? And so they have to say, oh no, the birds, they're not working anymore.
Probably.
It's the bird flu.
That's a very, very plausible hypothesis that you have.
Thank you.
What about when they lay eggs and it is all mushy inside and there's no metal?
It's probably because they need an oil change.
There you go.
That's an oil spill. Okay, got it.
It's all of the fluids that they're changing. The squirrels run up the trees and bring them the new resources, and then they're expelled in the form of eggs.
Okay.
So then are the squirrels also robots, or are they real squirrels?
I think the squirrels fall underneath the same guise of kamikaze porpoises. So they're actual real animals.
What is that thing that I break at Thanksgiving? The wishbone?
I think these are all fabulous questions that only Peter could answer. And if I was a real psychic medium, I would be able to channel the soul of, what was it, Fred Neil? Is that what it was? And he could tell me these answers.
But there's nothing.
Oh, Neil Ford.
Very close. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is insane. I want to know, what am I eating?
I'm honestly just very impressed with the story.
Yeah.
It's so good. You guys should go read it. It's so funny. It's not the conspiracy theory that I thought we were going to have, but it's the one that everyone needed.
It is.
The one that we needed. I also know, and this makes me a little bit sad, that there are definitely people out there that genuinely, with their whole heart, believe this to be true.
Yes.
And I wish them the best.
They may. I don't know about that necessarily. I tried to research a little bit of it. There was an old podcast called The Eldritch Estate, and they no longer post things. And they did a birds aren't real conspiracy theory. It's the only other thing that I'd ever listened to, but that was 2-3 years ago when I listened to it. And I was also working while I was listening to it. So the fact that it was all just a satirical conspiracy, I think eluded my mind. So when I was like, I'm going to cover this, it's going to be great. They talk about how there's actually people that do believe it. But when I was trying to look up more concrete evidence of that, I wasn't able to find any. But there might be. Reddit could really probably shed a light on that.
I think somebody's uncle somewhere is probably talking about it at Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to eat that turkey. That's the CIA.
It is.
Yeah.
So,
I've definitely met people that I don't know if they're just playing, but they will argue about it. I have met people that have argued about it, really, truly thinking that. But sometimes I think they're just trolling me, so I don't.
I want to know, do you guys think that birds aren't real? In the comments below, you should really let us know. We'll just have a fight about it. Whoever wins.
Yes.
You can decide. But all right. Thank you guys so much for being on this Sunday's episode. Again, tell the people where you can be found at.
Well, first off, thank you so much.
Yes.
Yes, this was so much fun. But yeah, we can be found on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and also Patreon. Live, Laugh, Lore on Patreon. We have a lot of bonus content there too. And then we are also on Instagram and TikTok as well.
Excellent. Every Thursday, guys, go tune in, listen to the Moth Daddy podcast. What were your favorite ones that you've recorded so far?
I think my favorite was the elevator game. Oh, that one was really creepy and genuinely scared me. What about you, Caroline?
I think I really like the Slender Man one.
That one was good too.
I do really enjoy.
Slender Man is creepy. Yeah. Do you guys read creepypastas?
Yep.
Okay, creepypastas absolutely wrecked me in college when I would be bored at my job when I was done doing homework. And there was this one that I read, and I've never been able to find it again, where you think someone is losing their mind or in alternate realities. And then at the end of it, you realize that the person that's talking about it is from the perspective of someone that has dementia.
Oh.
I cried at the end of reading it. I wish I could find it because I want to show it to someone who could actually publish it because I think it was that important that people should read it. Anyways, creepypasta.
That's kind of that reminds me of Shutter Island. Kind of, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, creepypasta. I can understand why people thought creepypasta stories were real because they are written so well.
They are.
And so I get it. Sometimes our storytelling abilities are just too good.
So even though this podcast took 2 attempts, because the first time we didn't record the Dybbuk box, which is episode 40 on Live, Laugh, Lore, right? 40?
Yes.
Excellent. Episode 40 on Live, Laugh, Lore. It's interesting that we didn't necessarily talk about what we should or shouldn't do. You just said, hey, I'm going to do the Dybbuk box. And then I was like, that's cool. I'm going to do Birds Aren't Real. And now that we've recorded both of them, they both kind of line up that they were made up stories very well written to, get the masses going. It's like that one
maybe this
song.
was all a conspiracy to begin with.
Dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Anyways, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Until next time, peace.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.